Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Reading from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita. Uniting two worlds. Chapter is Krishna's Great Soldier. Cannot find the bookmark actually. Yes. So reading from our family business. Uttama Shloka Das, temple president of ISKCON Chicago, in the 1970s inherited a 20,000 debt when he took over the temple. He remembers how, by organizing and concentrating on book distribution, he cleared the debt and soon had a surplus, which he used to take exemplary care of the devotee community. Uttama Shloka explains, in Chicago, we had a monthly overhead of $30,000. I invested more money for high quality prasad and other amenities than any other temple because I knew that the devotees going out all day to sell books needed to be taken care of nicely. The expanding income from the distribution of BBT books was also invested in valuable new ashram space, in opulent deity worship, and in devotee care. In fact, records indicate that the BBT gave many dozens of loans and grants to help start ISKCON temples and projects all over the world. As ISKCON facilities increased, so did the number of new seekers who had purchased books, liked what they had read, and moved into the ashrams, attracted by the sublime atmosphere. Soon after joining, many of these new devotees also went out to distribute books, adding momentum to the growth of ISKCON and the BBT. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Reading from Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 19, The Island of Jambudvipa. Text 26. Ye Shraddhaya Barhishi Bhagaso Havir Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruktam Ishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Niruktam Ishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Eka Prithan Namabhir Ahuto Muda Eka Prithan Namabhirahuto Muda Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruktamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Eka Prithan Namabhirahuto Muda Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruktamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Eka Prithan Namabhirahuto Muda Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruktamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Eka Prithan Namabhirahuto Muda Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruktamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Eka Prithan Namabhirahuto Muda Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruktamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Eka Prithan Namabhirahuto Muda Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruktamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta Eka Prithan Namabhirahuto Muda Grinati Purna Swayam Ashisham Prabhu Ye by whom the inhabitants of Bharatavarsha Shraddhaya faith and confidence Barhisi in the performance of Vedic ritualistic sacrifices Bhagasa by division Havi oblations Niruktam offered Ishtam to the desired deity Vidhi, by the proper method. Mantra, by reciting mantras. Vastuta, with the proper ingredients. Ekaha, that one Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prithak, separate. Namabhi, by names. Ahuta, called. Muda, with great happiness. Grinati, he accepts. Purna, the Supreme Lord, who is full in himself. Swayam, personally. Ashisham, of all benedictions. Prabhu, the bestower. Translation. In India, Bharatvarsha, there are many worshippers of the demigods, the various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, and Surya, all of whom are worshipped differently. The worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, He offers the worshippers the benedictions they desire, even if they worship only part of His transcendental body. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Bhagavad Gita 9:13, Lord Krishna says, Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita bhajati ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Mahatmas, advanced devotees, worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Others, however, who are also sometimes called Mahatmas, worship the Lord as Ekatvena Prithatvena. In other words, they accept the demigods as different parts of Krishna and worship them for various benedictions. Although the devotees of the demigods thus achieve the desired results offered by Krishna, they have been described in Bhagavad Gita as Hrita Jnana, not very intelligent. Krishna does not desire to be worshipped indirectly through the different parts of his body. Krishna wants direct devotional worship. Therefore, a devotee who directly worships Lord Krishna through staunch devotional service, as recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajete Purusham Param, is very quickly elevated to the transcendental position. Nevertheless, devotees who worship the demigods, the different parts of the Lord, receive the benedictions they desire because the Lord is the original master of all benedictions. If anyone wants a particular benediction for the Lord to award, it is not at all difficult. वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपां बुद्धिर्य तमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. I'm indeed very thankful for this opportunity. Oh. and it's very humbling as well to speak something on Srimad Bhagavatam. So, by your blessings, we try to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. So, every translation and purport is very sublime, very sublime. So, translation in Bharatvarsha, there are many worshippers of the demigods, the various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord. And the worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods to be part and parcel of the whole. So, because of this thing, okay, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, He offers the worshippers the benedictions they desire, even if they worship only part of His transcendental body. Hmm. So, for someone in the western part of the world, some believe for a European mind, a Western um, bodied entity, it's a bit difficult to comprehend demigods, I believe. So, um, Krishna being the source of all emanations, the source of all incarnations as well, the source of everyone. And then for the maintenance of this cosmic affair, the various demigods appointed, the various officials, personalities appointed, like Lord Indra, Lord Chandra, Lord Surya, who are appointed with certain fixed responsibilities and tasks and roles to perform. And they've been doing it nicely to please Krishna, or also perhaps an element of fear out of Krishna, also to get the desires fulfilled by maintaining or having that post and position. So they have been allotted their set of roles and responsibilities. A way to see it is could be we understand that there's this cabinet in the parliament, the League of Ministers say, and among the League of Ministers, the Prime Minister is the topmost minister. And then he has his cabinet, his officials, finance secretary person, health secretary person, transport person, defense person, immigration person, all these different officials, and they all report to the prime minister, and they all individually look that each of these portfolios are looked after nicely, and it appears it is seen sometimes the prime minister he will do his role, and also he may take up the agriculture department or the energy department as well. If he sees no one is best fit, no one is available or fit enough to look after the energy department, he will take it for himself. He will look after the energy department as well. Likewise, we understand from Bhagavatam that Krishna, he appoints these various officials for the various posts. And sometimes, if there happens that no one is qualified enough to take the position of Lord Brahma or this or any other higher post, then Krishna himself he will fulfill that position. There are various these officials who have been appointed by Krishna for the maintenance of the cosmic affairs, the administration of this cosmic material world. And they've been given roles, responsibilities, some authority, some power, some control, and they carry some uh, power perhaps to fulfill people's aspirations, desires, and all. But none of that is independent. None of their power is independent. Like finance secretary, health secretary, they all carry powers and all to give money to the council or to sign off something for the respective individual councils, but none of them can work independently on their own without consulting or without being advised or without being in line um, with the constitution or without being approved by the parliament. So likewise, the various demigods, they carry responsibilities and power as well, but they are not independent in themselves, which we understand from Bhagavad Gita in the series of verses from in chapter 7, 20 to 24. Maya eva hete vihitan hitan, Krishna says. So they fulfill the desires, but it is only because I give them that power, okay, that whatever the desired blessing one is seeking can be fulfilled. A big question actually can be raised that what is the need of these demigods? Why do we need them? Or if at all they are needed, why is there actually the mention? Let them there be in the sky somewhere and doing their jobs. Why to let us know of them? Wouldn't life have been say, more simpler if there was just God and that also one God? Not so many gods, just one God and us living entities and a direct relationship. Now that we have been, oh, these many demigods and also these many faiths and these many things and all, it is like your God, my God, I have my own God and sort of thing. A question can be raised like that. The reason like why the demigods are there and these is actually to help us come to the position of practicing devotional service. If we take aside Bhagavatam just for a moment and see in our student life, in our working life, in our family life, in our retirement life and all, the stages wherein we perform, their positions in which we actually perform. How? So like say working life, someone would be doing his job, his office, his business out of a motivation of a fear that no, I have to report on time, I have to start my shop on time, I have to do it on time and all, because I am fearful, say, of my boss, or I am fearful I might lose customers and all, or I am out of a fear. Why? Because I have to pay certain bills and this and that. So that is the motivation or inclination. Then again, out of fear. Next, someone could be performing his duty or his engagement in this world out of a motivation of desires, out of inclination to fulfill some desires. That yes, no, I need to go to office, do my job and all. Why? So that I will get salary. And also on top of that salary, if I tend to work nicely, I mean, we shouldn't tend to work nicely. We should genuinely work nicely. But someone might think if I tend to work nicely for some months, say, then coming up to bonus time, I might get good bonus as well. So let me work nicely or tend to work nicely or maybe pretend to work nicely. And then with the money and the bonus, I can fulfill my desires. I can travel Europe. I can travel other places. I can buy things. I can take so much out when I have money, then I feel very comfortable, secure, peaceful. Though we all understand with money we can buy beds but not good sleep. So, desire is a thing. Okay, yes, for the fulfillment of my desires. That's the motivation to engage in life. Then, moving on from there, if we raise our standard, if we raise our standard of participation engagement in this world, then duty bound. This is where like service industry they are called, right? NHS and other industries, service industries, they are doing their duties. Fire department, police department, other department, immigration departments and all, very much service oriented and doing their out of duty, out of care or selfless nature. This is how like okay, uh, businesses as well. There's a bit of this thing, right? Fair trade dealings or fair trade, pay at fair trade and all. So out of a level of selfless duty or out of the motivation or inclination to participate is out of duty. Means, okay, no, I do not say go to uni or I do not go to job or shop or office or family relationships out of fear. No, not out of desire. I like it. I want to, out of my duty. And Transcending duty comes the platform of love. That I do whatever I do, I'm driven by love. Whatever I do, it is out of love only. And it is when our cause of putting into action anything, when it is caused by love, then the effect will be nothing but love only. The effect will be nothing but pure satisfaction, pure joy. But when the cause, the driving factor for engagement in anything is out of fear, then the effect, the result wouldn't be love, wouldn't be out of the result we would be experiencing wouldn't be saturating us in love. It could be indeed giving us fear in return, or more anxiety in return, or maybe some solace for the time being. Even and if we do out of desire, then also it wouldn't be leading us to love. It wouldn't be saturating us in pure love. Maybe desire, fulfilling some desires, but again the trishna, this satisfaction is never there. Out of duty, it may lead us to a mode of goodness or calmness, but again the hankering will still remain. But when we are carried forward by out of love only, that is when we will want to give more and more, more and more, and go away from self obsession towards Krishna obsession. And broadly, for this reason, this is the arrangement within the Vedic, in Bharatvarsha, Vedic land, or even outside of the Vedic subcontinent, say, that this arrangement is there, that how could gradually people be elevated to the level of love. And if this arrangement isn't there, then there would be more chaos, more complete chaos. It's just like another way of saying, say, we understand in UK there's this Oxford Uni and Cambridge Uni and other couple of other unis which are quite world renowned, world famous. Shishi Khoranitaya Mayapur Sashiki. Now, if there were only this, say, Oxford and Cambridge Uni, then the number of students getting admission and applying and willing to study in those unis would be very, very few, very, very few. And the remainder, they wouldn't just, okay, I wouldn't bother at all with uni. Just my high school, or what's the point of giving GCSE or something? I don't want to go to Oxford and Cambridge. I wouldn't do anything at all. For the overall functioning of the society, that everything is needed. We need this different unis and everything, so that gradually everyone can get education in their current situation, perspective, and all, and participate and engaging in practical life. So this is why this arrangement of demigods are there actually to help us, and they are fulfilling the assignment task given by Krishna, like Lord Indra, Lord Chandra, Lord Surya, and others. But as it says in purport, that those who take these demigods to be all in all, and worship the demigods, out of their ignorance, their Hirita Jnana, their intelligence is stolen, it's kidnapped, it's stolen their intelligence because of their engagement thinking that the demigods are all in all. Even if someone approaches demigods and gradually transcends to the level of, okay, out of fear no more, out of desire no more, then out of duty bound only, or out of love, yes, out of selfless love, then the demigod will point and help. Look, you have been asking benedictions, blessings from me, and these many things, which now you have stopped asking for. Now you want to worship me out of duty and out of love. But I cannot give you that love because I do not possess myself that love. You better take love from the source of love, Krishna. And the demigod then paves the path and helps others also in our life, like people, and they pave the path, nature paves the path, universe paves the path and helps us understand Krishna, go towards Krishna. So by gradually engaging in worship mode, at least this sense invokes that I am not the all in all. There is someone above me, someone I worship, someone I respect, someone I adore, someone I listen to. And then gradually it can be built up. So this in purport it says like Krishna does not desire to be worshipped indirectly through the different parts of his body. Krishna wants direct devotional worship. Of course, and Krishna deserves everything what he wants, and who am I or we are to say as such. And therefore, a devotee who directly worships Lord Krishna through staunch devotional service, as recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, Yajita Purusham Param. So, this particular shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam appears in the second canto, third chapter, 10th verse. Pure devotional service, the cleansing of the heart chapter. So Tivrena, very quickly, with full force, heavy speed, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, Yajita Purusham Param, the Param Purush, Krishna, engage in his worship. And the way the flow is written throughout in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, it's so amazing because it very nicely captures the mentality of the people worldwide, not just in one particular space or time, worldwide and since eternity. So, um, as we see the flow, that if you want a good husband, worship Lord Shiva. If you want a good wife, worship Uma. If you want a good son, worship Surya. If you want good health, worship Chandra. If you want this, then then worship them. So, and then ultimately or leading up, it says, well, akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaridi. So, if you want full of desires, no desires or desiring liberation, just worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. So, how actually what I personally find the more beautiful is the next verse after that. It says like Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajete Purusham Param. How to quickly absorb our mind in devotional service and loving devotional service. Um, then it says like Etavan eva yajatam, of all these worshippers who are engaged in worshipping different demigods say, and Ihe nishreyashaya udaya, the highest benediction will come about. How? What is that highest benediction? Bhagavati achalo bhavo. Achal bhav, I'm immovable, fixed determination in worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in loving Lord Shri Krishna. Yad Bhagavata Sangata, when we gain the association, when we take the association, when we cry for the association of Bhagavat personality, book Bhagavatam, Granth Bhagavatam, or the person Bhagavat, yet Bhagavata Sangata, that is the to come in the fast track, like say applying for driving license or passport or something. There's the different things, okay, normal, medium, or delivery, post, parcel, and all. The fast track delivery will cost this much, and it will get your item delivered in such hours only, not in days. So, likewise, for us to come in the fast track zone of practicing loving devotional service, Bhagavati Achalo Bhava Yad Bhagavata Sangata. And this is what human life is meant for, to find out that Bhagavat personality, to get absorbed in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam and serve that Bhagavat personality. Granth Bhagavatam and Bhakt Bhagavatam. But anyways, because Krishna loves everyone unconditionally, so if anyone wants a particular benediction for the Lord to award, it is not at all difficult. Certainly, what is difficult for Krishna to give? And actually, Krishna doesn't take us any seriously when we go in front of him asking for, say, car, asking for clearance of mortgage, asking for a piece of land, asking for good health, asking for good spouse, partner, this and that. Krishna doesn't take us really very seriously. Then, okay, fine. But when we ask for Krishna, then Krishna gets a bit more excited and agitated. Oh my God, he's asking for me. Then Krishna gets personally involved. Otherwise, for other things, okay, fine, there is the arrangement. Likewise, Bhagavatam is all to invoke our real intelligence. to in this life itself take a big leap, or actually, and which is doable, which is practical, which is what is desired. As it's like, it is very clear, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, as it says in translation also, there are many worshippers of the demigods, or many engaged in, say, whatever concocted faith, or in whatever form, practice, and all. The various officials appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hmm. The worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord accepts these offerings and gradually raises them to the real standard of devotional service. So, what is real? That is what one should aim for, actually. What is the point in aiming something which is real, but only for a time, place, circumstance, situation, period only? Real or divya means it is for eternal. It is for eternal and full of knowledge and full of place. Then, yes, it is real. Pleasure is real when it is eternal. We are pleasure seekers. So we shouldn't really look for that pleasure which is sustainable or which is forever. A thing is judged by its result or its effect, right? So we should see our engagement. Is it really saturating us, or is it keeping us uh, in a game of seesaw, sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes up, sometimes down? Rather, how could we actually be? And we all aspire that. We all aspire that everlasting joy, ever increasing joy. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. In Mahaprabhu Sishtastakam, the first verse, buddhi vardhanam, increase, anandam. So the bliss, how could be actually be increased? And this Japa retreat was so amazing. And this is the opportunity I would like to take for myself. And well, I always try that at least I become the first listener. So in this japa sessions, what I learned, okay, every day we do japa. 4th of Jan, japa, 5th Jan also, hopefully 6th and all. And how actually that Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, when I give that japa that priority and I actually respect that japa. And this is how Mahaprabhu would appreciate when, at least in thoughts, I'm trying that, okay, excelling in japa. Okay, on this note, maybe I will take a pause, and any question or comment or clarification or suggestions or corrections, please. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that class. Could you speak a little bit about staunch devotion service? What does it mean in practice?
Again, it is your kindness. So, staunch devotional service, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, uh, desperation. Desperation. Krishna is very adamant. Krishna is very haughty, very ruddy as well, very adamant, or very fixed like, and appreciates that quality. So, staunch, one of the features or elements of staunch devotional service is our desperation for Krishna, our hankering, our lollyam, our desire, our greed. How much actually desperate are we for Krishna? And we have experienced this staunchness, but in, I mean, personally speaking for myself, not in Krishna consciousness sense. Like uh, growing up in India, I was a bit into cricket, at least following and watching. And then there was this staunch, okay, the match is going to start and all, and in preparation and all. And there was this desperation, or if you missed some of time of it, oh gosh, it's kind of killing me. Thankfully, by the blessings of devotees, I managed to get out of that sort of desperation. But now the real desperation has to be invoked. Desperation for coming to the morning program, desperation for chanting the holy names, desperation for reading Srimad Bhagavatam, desperation for sharing Srimad Bhagavatam, understand desperation for prayers, then Krishna will understand, okay, he's staunch. Like His Grace Adokshaja Prabhu. Yesterday he mentioned, doing Sankirtan, he used to visit a shop person, right? And he went for the first time, and the shop person, what did he say, like kicked him out or said him, no, go away, sort of. So Adokshaja Prabhu went. But next year also he went, and the same thing, no, go. Third time also he went, same thing, no, go away. But Adoksha Prabhu was giving his presentation and everything, and every year, I'm sure he was adding value to his presentation on Adoksha Prabhu's side. Then the fourth year, the poor gentleman said, okay, yes, take 10 pounds and go, or take 20 pounds or whatever, and then go. And now, after these 40 years of Sankirtan, or even before, like, this gentleman gives Adokshaja Prabhu a bundle of 20-pound notes. So because of his being fixed up, because of his being staunch, because of his fixed determination and his desperation. So this practicing devotional service, the desperation has to be invoked. And as Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is very simple for the simple-minded, or it is so simple that it can be missed, or it can be neglected, or it can be really the message could be lost. So sometimes it helps when Krishna and consciousness, the two are put together. It helps sometimes, or actually, this is what it should be. So the Krishna and the consciousness, these two has to be put together. Then only will relish or enjoy devotional service. And in devotional service, we have to get rid of conditioning, not just material conditioning, but also quotation of spiritual conditioning as well. In the sense, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. So, materially, we may not be aspiring, but spiritually also, we should try to very much be clear from name, fame, or respect or followership or eloquence and like that. And then only when we free ourselves from designations, when we free ourselves from result oriented mentality and all, and we can have that desperation and then see the real mercy of Krishna. Like in Karuna Bhavan, we are living in the inner circle of devotees. So, likewise, that staunchness means how could we actually be in the inner Kripa vision of Mahaprabhu, in the inner circle of the Kripa vision of Mahaprabhu, and we have to attain that, we have to hanker for that. Just like yesterday, that such beautiful bhajan by Lotan Das Thakur, and Akaroda Nityananda Paramarai. So, Lotan Das Thakur, in his immense bhav, in his transcendental ultimate bhav, he says, someone who has taken this human form of life and doesn't take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, or doesn't invoke his love for Gaura Nitai, his life is complete waste, complete waste. So staunchness in that sense, how much appreciation can we have for Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu's yoga, what Mahaprabhu is coming to give us. And even if be it in theory, yeah, just if we keep on appreciating, and then that theory will come into practical also, and in our study, in our reading and hearing. So staunchness is like by our having our desperation for serving Vaishnavas, and this adamancy in the sense Krishna, Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tumhara. Uh, So if you want to keep me, if you want to get me insulted, or if you want to get me uh, esteemed or so much, whatever, it is your desire. But now that I have tasted the nectar of your holy name, I wouldn't want to leave it from my side. Rather, I would want to go more and more on it. Something on those lines, if this helps. So this is the aspiration to how actually we can have this non-devotional service. And again, the best way in spiritual life, it doesn't, like in material life also, they say, right? It doesn't matter what you know. What beats or what topples is who you know. Who you know is what matters. Doesn't matter whatever one knows. Um, Say, if I know the prime minister or someone, and then other person, he could be knowing the ins and outs. But if prime minister is favorable to me, then doesn't matter. Likewise, in spiritual life also, what I know, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, here, there. Oh, I know Bhagavad Gita. You don't need to tell me, or tell me something more, something different. What really beats it or what takes it to the next level is who we know, as in Vaishnavas, who we know. And this knowing is a very funny little word, I find. I might say I know Padar, I might say I know Pip, but knowing in the sense, knowing the heart of Krishna, knowing the heart of Bhagavatam, understanding the heart of Krishna, understanding the heart of Bhagavatam, knowing the heart of Vaishnavas, knowing the heart of one spiritual master, and praying, begging for that relationship, that love, that sharing, that bonding. Then that staunchness will come because elevated Vaishnavas, they are very staunch in their devotional service. So, yad Bhagavata Sangata, through their blessings, through their mercy, and from our side, having that desire. Okay, on this note, thank you very much for your kind patience and encouragement. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की शिला प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी
Haribo. Today, Bhakta Ashish, Jai.